We are walking through the Hampshire College woods. There are like 200 plus acres here.
I thought like 400 or 500.
Oh, maybe. There are a lot of acres of beautiful woods. The snow is falling. It's the middle of March. It's supposed to get warmer soon, but it's kind of nice having a layer of snow on the ground. And Daniel and I are walking through the woods trying to find our home, a spot for our home, that we are going to put up a 16 by 20 canvas tent in a week and live there for 2 months. So you'll be getting lots of videos of us in the home, but currently we are searching for the best spot for the place.
And we're following Luke. So you want to lead the way?
Yes. All right, we are on a trail. We got to get Darling in here a little bit. How are you feeling this morning, this afternoon, love?
Feeling fantastic. I went to this coffee shop called Balganon, which is associated with a dispensary. So it's like a coffee shop weed dispensary. Anyway, I got a cortado. They make amazing coffee.
They really do.
They have really good pastries. And I sat and I read about water, which is fantastic.
Which book was it?
The Water Wizard by Victor Schauberger.
What do you want? What do you want? I don't want anyone happening upon us, but I want to invite people and them to come there and them to know where it is, but not just to be like walking and be like, what is that? So a little secluded. I like big trees surrounding it to have a little coverage. And I'm just looking for somewhere that's, interesting, unique, that not necessarily hard to find, but we know it, like it's different than every other part of the woods, which is pretty much every part, but I don't know,
some
just
uniqueness to it.
Just that we gravitate towards. Like that really cool tree back there that I took a photo of you at. That's really cool.
The one with the spindly thing?
Yeah.
Let's go left here, Dove.
Okay. Now, baby, what is your perfect, ideal location to live for 2 months?
Well, it has to be a clearing because I am not going to cut any trees. I thought your list was perfect, baby.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking
Now, are your feet getting cold?
No, these boots are fucking incredible.
Daniel's boots are fucking incredible.
You see, they're Gore-Tex. So, baby Dove,
Yeah.
let's show off the spot.
I think we found our spot. We're gonna move these sticks here, but basically this flat spot, our whole camp will be right here, right next to this beautiful tree.
We got a beautiful pine, got a beautiful maple, another pine. We've got some, I don't know if they're hemlocks, but they're not doing fantastically in this area, which is why there's so much open space. But honestly, that's kind of, it's good because there's not much on the ground. And in this area, there aren't that many dead ones. And the ones that are alive are pretty small. And there's these big guys that we hope will kind of shield us a little bit. So, anyway, I've got a question for Darling.
Question for Darling.
In the past week, what's the thought or the thought that you've had that's sort of unique to your mind, or something you've read that changed the way you look at the world or inspired you to take action? And so what's been the most inspirational or interesting thought in the last week?
All right, so I am reading this book right now. called The Botany of Desire by Michael Pollan. And I am in the first section, which is the apple section. There are 4 sections of the book. And Michael Pollan is basically trying to argue how humans and plants both help and build each other up. There is this common notion that humans are seen as the destroyers, but that actually we are co-evolving together. It's this more co-evolutionary process, and he looks at that through the bee, through the tulip, through the apple,
And marijuana.
So I'm reading the apple section, and Pollan describes the history of the apple coming from Kazakhstan to the United States. And the apple is one of these really incredible species because it is like the human. It's heterozygous.
Zygotic or something. Zygous. I think you're right. Heterozygous.
I think. Yeah. And which means that every apple, so whenever an apple seed is planted, it is its own species, just like every human can have similar genes to your parents, obviously, but it is actually your own embodiment. So
right, species wouldn't be the right word.
Species isn't the right word, but
it's a unique genetic
makeup, basically. Yeah. So that was really amazing. But now you go into the grocery store and there are only ever 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of apples. Maybe sometimes there are 6 or 7. And that's because humans have grafted these apple trees. Basically saying, oh, well, this is a really good apple. We need to make more of these apples. So they've gone through this process, which is basically, why you go in and there's only golden deliciouses. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, whatever.
And so what's really amazing is Michael Pollan traveled to this apple orchard in New York, and it's one of the last apple orchards, at least in the United States, that has over 600 varieties of apples. So it's this incredibly phenomenal place. And he met this guy there who is he's either the owner or manager or something of the orchard. And he was talking to Michael Pollan. He's like, hey, let me show you something really special. And he brought him back to a part of the orchard that people didn't typically go to. And there, instead of these rows that you see apple trees typically in, you walk down, it's because it's very human formed and human made. It was just apples that are all different sizes, how they used to be, some that are the size of grapes, some that are the size of watermelons, huge or small, and all these different forms, in a shape of a mango, but they were all apples. And this guy is trying to basically take what Johnny Appleseed or John Chapman had done, which was have all of these unique apple trees and basically remake that, because we have gotten to this point where we are losing the variety of all of these apples. And so he actually traveled to Kazakhstan and collected all of these seeds, because there in Kazakhstan, you go into the forest and there's still all of these varieties of apples that have been saved. And so he collected hundreds and thousands of seeds, and he sent them to all of these apple lovers around the United States and says, plant them, save them, nurture them to get these apple varieties back that we have lost. And so he's just this enthusiast and loves apples so much. And it really inspires me just to not only learn about the history of this tree that I, at least, is just I go into the store and I'm oh, an apple. It's just sort of this commonality, this popular, an apple isn't that significant, but has had this phenomenal history that is actually being lost, and that we need to rekindle and find again, and that it is possible to rebirth these things that we have also, in a way, destroyed. Welcome to Contemplative Head with Daniel Schmidt, the handsome man.
And Luke Gannon, the sexy, sexy lady.